Well, hey there. Welcome to the Movie Review Mom YouTube channel. Thank you so much for spending a few minutes checking out my reviews. My goal is to give you the heads up on filmmaking quality and content so that you can make the best decision for you and your family as to whether or not you want to spend time or money or both sometimes watching a specific film. So, the movie I'm reviewing today is called Scrooge, A Christmas Carol. This Christmas movie is now available exclusively on Netflix. It's rated TVY7, meaning it is very family friendly. However, I'm going to give you some tips for parents in just a few minutes. The movie is also an hour and 36 minutes, and my movie review mom grade is an A minus. I actually thought it was really good. But let me give you an overview in a nutshell first, and then I'll point out the things that I really liked and didn't like about the movie, as well as offer tips for parents, themes worth talking about, funny lines and interesting lines, and recommendation for another film I think you definitely need to add to your watch list this Christmas season. All right, you ready? In a nutshell, the Netflix description for this film is that it is a supernatural time-traveling musical adaptation of Charles Dickens's cult Christmas story. The film was directed by Stephen Donnelly, who also wrote the screenplay with writing help by Leslie Bricusse. I hope I pronounced Leslie's name correctly. It's like every screenplay writer and director got together recently and decided that they would all create a different version of the famous A Christmas Story this year for the holidays. I've already seen so many adaptations of this classic Charles Dickens story this year alone. Here's another one to add to the growing collection. So what makes this one unique and a very crowded list is it's an animated musical. All right, so here's the list of things that I really liked about this movie. First of all, I don't understand the negative reviews on Rotten Tomatoes and IMDb for this film. I actually thought it was a really good version of the Christmas story that we all know so well. And I also thought that it was a good entry for children who may not be familiar with the story. It's very family friendly, as I mentioned, but I think it will also appeal to young kids. The fantastic and Academy Award winning voice talent stars Olivia Colman, love her. Jessie Buckley, love her. Luke Evans, love him. Johnny Flynn, love him. I mean, the list goes on and on. Fra Free, Trevor Dion Nicholas, and Jonathan Pryce even. The standout for me was Olivia Colman as the ghost of Christmas past. But then again, I am such a huge fan of hers. I adore her in everything that she does. She can do no wrong. That being said, Luke Evans was stellar in his role as Scrooge. His singing voice was exceptional, and I think even better than Beauty and the Beast. I also really enjoyed his duets with Jessie Buckley. And she's a singer, by the way. Check out some of her previous movies where she sings. The lovely songs and lyrics are truly heartfelt. Now, I think that will appeal more to the parents watching than the kids. There's great choreography, especially for an animation. This sweet musical comedy, I think, is just adorable and has energy that is palpable throughout the entire movie. The animation itself is lovely with some cute details and lots of visual humor. The movie offers new ways of visually presenting the familiar concepts of the story. For example, there's this pushcart vendor who sings and walks backward while the ghost of Christmas past takes Ebenezer Scrooge to a time in his history. So we actually see time reversing literally before our eyes. I think kids will get a kick out of that. In this version, we also get more background information about why Scrooge hates Christmas and why he has been so unfriendly to his nephew, his actual family. Considering the target audience of children, I like how the director added very clear visual parallels to how Ebenezer Scrooge behaves in the present day when the various ghosts are trying to teach him lessons. Now, I didn't describe that very well, but visually, it's very clear so the children can understand the symbolism, which they might not normally catch if they watched an older version of the movie. Now, with all of that praise, there were a few things that I didn't like or just thought could have been done better. For example, the psychedelic color palette is quite colorful during the visions of the past, present, and future. So some folks may not like that for a story that really is supposed to be like in the 1800s. It seems almost a little too Disney-esque, like Fantasia, or something like that. Now, that's only a few moments. It's not the entire movie. Some of the songs also feel a bit much, like trying to squeeze a Broadway dance number into kind of a somber story of self-reflection and redemption. So there's a little bit of a disconnect there, but still, I really enjoyed this version. Let me give you some tips for parents because it is family friendly. There are some dark, spooky moments that might scare very young children, so just beware of that. There's a lot of sarcasm that's featured in the humor, and so some kids may or may not understand that it's sarcasm. There's a lot of adult bullying, and a woman slaps a man. Now, that goes with the general idea of a man who's very mean and grumpy and angry and unkind toward people. So definitely talk to your kids about his behavior. And if your past traumas give you an excuse to act badly, you can have some really great conversations. And in fact, here are some more themes that I think make for a really great fodder for conversation. Redemption. Life is not all about money. Happiness, service to others, reflecting on your life to make changes, and talk with your family about the upcoming New Year's resolution. 'Tis the season to make new goals for the new year. And so talk about what are some things that maybe they could change about themselves or their behavior to be their next level self. All right, so I always write down funny lines and interesting lines on my written review at moviereviewmom.com. I'll share a few of them with you right now. I didn't write down any funny lines. Even though there is humor, it's really more in the delivery than the actual witty dialogue, I think, sometimes. But anyway, here's some interesting lines. For example, Ebenezer Scrooge, who's played by Luke Evans, begins the movie by saying, "They say a man makes his own luck." And so he is very successful, and we get to see how he did become successful based on his choices and his hard work. He explains to someone, "I have no time to be merry." And what a sad statement that is. I hope that you're not feeling that this holiday season. So I loved Olivia Colman. As I mentioned, she plays the ghost of Christmas past, and she's trying to help Scrooge, and he's just cranky and, mean. And she says, yes, the past can hurt, especially yours, but it can also heal if you learn from it. And in a similar conversation with him, she says, "You can't escape your past, mate." And she tells him, "You do so dwell on the bad things in life and then learn nothing from them." And I thought that was a really good wake-up call for him and for me and for all of us, really, that if we're going to go through really crummy times, at the very least, we should be learning something from them, right? So that's what she's trying to point out. All right, so as you can tell, I really enjoyed the movie. I hope that you do too. I'm going to give you a recommendation for one more film that you definitely should watch. And again, I think it's very family friendly. You get to learn about Charles Dickens. The name of the movie is called The Man Who Invented Christmas. This came out in 2017, and I just absolutely loved it. We get to see kind of the behind the scenes fictional account of what might have inspired Charles Dickens to write this book, the famous book that has been turned into multiple movies. And in case you don't know, Charles Dickens was a Christian. He wrote another book that is less popular, but it was basically his testimony of Jesus Christ. And he wanted his children, especially, to understand the reason for this season. All right, that's it. Thank you so much for spending a few minutes with me. I hope that this gives you an idea of whether or not you want to gather the family around and sit down and devote time into watching this film. I think you should. I thought it was really good. Comment down below. Let me know what you think. Thank you so much. Have a fantastic day, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye for now.